origins of the motorcycle. When we trace the origins of the motorcycle, one question always arises: who truly built the first one? Depending on how you define a motorcycle, credit may belong to Sylvester H. Roper, an inventor from Roxbury, Massachusetts. Back in 1869, Roper built a steam-powered contraption that many consider the earliest version of the modern motorcycle. Roper's creation looked much like the bicycles of its day: slim, simple, and made for speed, but with one major difference. Beneath the seat sat a compact, vertical steam boiler that powered a pair of pistons connected to the rear wheel by a crank system. Control came through the handlebars. By twisting them forward and backward, the rider could adjust the throttle. This feature, the twist grip control, was a groundbreaking innovation. Though primitive, it became the foundation for throttle systems that would later define motorcycles worldwide, a concept eventually refined and popularized by the Indian Motorcycle Company. Roper built several versions of his steam bike over the years. In 1896, at the impressive age of 73, he demonstrated one of his machines at a track near Harvard University. He was clocked at a remarkable 40 miles per hour, but tragedy struck soon after. As he slowed down, the motorcycle wobbled and Roper fell, losing his life. Later reports suggested he had suffered a heart attack before the fall, meaning the accident may not have been the true cause of death. Despite Roper's early achievement, history often credits Gottlieb Daimler with inventing the motorcycle in 1885. His creation was the first known machine powered by a petroleum-fueled engine. Daimler mounted his new engine into a wooden frame. Although his invention included small stabilizing wheels, historians still regard it as the world's first true motorcycle. Daimler's young son, Paul, took the first ride, marking a new chapter in human transportation. Without pedals, the machine relied entirely on its small four-stroke engine for movement, a simple but powerful innovation that set the stage for modern motorbikes. Over the next few years, inventors around the world began experimenting with the idea. In 1892, Alex Millet designed a 5-cylinder motorcycle equipped with pneumatic tires, the first of its kind. His rotary engine was built directly into the rear wheel, with the cylinders spinning as the wheel turned. Though fascinating, Millet's design was mechanically complicated and short-lived. By 1894, a German team, Hildebrand and Wolf Meller, introduced the first motorcycle built specifically for sale. More than 200 units were produced, powered by a water-cooled twin-cylinder engine with a direct drive system. However, because the wheels were permanently connected to the engine, they spun whenever the motor ran, making it difficult to ride or control. The model faded quickly, but it marked an important step toward mass production. Just a year later, in 1895, the French firm de Dion-Bouton developed a compact 4-stroke engine that revolutionized motorcycle manufacturing. Their design featured a high-revving single-cylinder engine with one of the earliest battery and coil ignition systems. Lubrication was primitive. Oil dripped into the crankcase through a metering valve, splashed around and eventually leaked out. But it worked. This simple yet effective engine became the blueprint for future motorcycles, inspiring two American pioneers, Indian and Harley-Davidson. In 1900, George Hendy and Carl Hedstrom joined forces in Springfield, Massachusetts, to produce what they called a motorized bicycle for the general public. Their company, the Hendy Manufacturing Company, launched its first prototype in 1901, powered by a single-cylinder, 1.75 horsepower engine based on the de Dion-Bouton design. The machine could reach speeds of 25 miles per hour, a marvel at the time. When they began full production in 1902, the bikes carried a new brand name: Indian. Indian motorcycles were advanced for their time. They used chain drive systems, far superior to the belt drives used by competitors. By 1905, the Camelback model, with its distinctive fuel tank shape, became a signature design. Indian's motorcycles were known for their durability and solid engineering. The company introduced the V-twin engine, multi-speed gearboxes, and even a rear swing-arm suspension. Innovations far ahead of the curve. In 1914, Indian unveiled the first motorcycle with an electric starter and full electrical system. By the start of World War I, Indian had become the world's largest motorcycle manufacturer, producing over 20,000 bikes each year. Models like the Indian 4 were especially popular with police departments across the United States. Although several attempts were later made to revive the brand, the final original Indian motorcycle, the 1953 Indian Chief, remains legendary among collectors. Meanwhile, in 1903, two young men in Milwaukee, William S. Harley, age 21, and Arthur Davidson, age 20, founded the Harley-Davidson Motor Company. Their workshop was no more than a small wooden shed with the company's name hand-painted across the door. The early Harley-Davidson bikes were built with racing in mind. In 1908, Walter Davidson achieved a perfect score at the Federation of American Motorcyclists Endurance and Reliability Run, and days later he set an economy record by traveling 188 miles per gallon. In 1909, Harley-Davidson introduced their first V-twin engine, producing 7 horsepower from 49.5 cubic inches of displacement. By 1914, Harley-Davidson officially entered racing competitions, earning the nickname the Wrecking Crew for their dominance. During the 1920s, board track racing became wildly popular, and Harley-Davidson ruled the tracks. One surviving 1923 racer, discovered decades later in a chicken coop, has been restored and still runs exhibition laps today, hitting speeds over 75 miles per hour. When World War I broke out, nearly half of all Harley-Davidson motorcycles were commissioned by the U.S. military. By the end of the war, the Army had used around 20,000 Harley-Davidson bikes. By 1920, Harley-Davidson had become the largest motorcycle producer in the world, with over 2,000 dealerships in 67 countries. Though the rise of British motorcycles in the 1950s brought new competition, Harley-Davidson remained an enduring American symbol. A century after its founding, the company celebrated its 100th anniversary in 2003, still standing strong as the only surviving major motorcycle maker from the early pioneering days of motorcycling. From the steam-driven experiments of Sylvester Roper to the roaring engines of Harley-Davidson, the evolution of the motorcycle is a story of innovation, passion, and courage. A journey that forever changed how humans experience speed and freedom.